And hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. My name is Joshua Blair and I'm the founder of Icebreaker Games. And I'm thrilled to have you guys join us today. Today we're going to jump right back into our project called the Dream Machine, which we started a few days. We are on day 3, I believe now. So we're going to continue where we left off on our Unity. We were just finishing the bedroom and bathroom area of the bunker. And so today I'd like to finish the supply room and the generator room here and do some cleanup. If we have time after that, I will work on some of the intro splash screen, and then we'll start setting up kind of a UI menu or whatnot. So for those who are new to this stream, this is a project we're calling Dream Machine. We don't plan on calling it that forever. It's just kind of tentative right now. You can join our Discord server and you'll see some other additional name ideas, and we're welcome to have any kind of feedback, any kind of suggestions. Eventually we'll narrow it down to a few names, and we'll probably end up putting it to a vote, and that's the name that we'll go for this project. This project is eventually going to get released on Steam, but you know, we're only on day 3 and we got a long ways to go. I'm gonna be live streaming every step of the way, from anything from level design, which we started, to project setup, which we day 1, to the coding and UI stuff and playtesting. So everything will be done live. So you guys will see how to make video games, how easy it is, and my strategy and my recommendation. And also I just believe everybody can make video games, so that's really why I'm doing this. And I hope some of you guys get motivated and decide to make some games of your own. And if you do, by all means, you can always hit me up, email me, hit me up in the chat, or even join the Discord server, and I'll try to help out any way I can. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in. So I think we finished with this room. I know we had some like shelving and some walls and stuff that we wanted to decorate a little bit more. But for now, I think I'm good with this. For those who missed the first couple days, we do have the ceiling. I just have it temporarily toggled off, so it's easier to go in here and decorate stuff. But you can kind of see from my screen, this is what it would look like if we had a player controller and we were navigating through. I think it's coming along. I think it's looking pretty good. I can't wait to have a actual controllable character and be able to walk through here. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the ceiling again, and I'm going to start working on probably the generator room. I think that's a pretty important part. We got to make it look like it's beefy enough to be able to handle this type of bunker, this type of setup. Now, this particular asset or prop is called Transformer, and it definitely looks like, you know, those typical Transformers you see, you know, just around town and whatnot. I really was hoping to find some type of generator. If I do a search for like gen and then I use T-colon prefab, kind of a shortcut here. I was really hoping to find kind of a hardy, beefy generator, something better than this transformer that we can use. I gotta change the name of my search here a little bit. There we go. So, and yeah, we don't really have much option here. We could potentially use this one, although it does look very military. And it's kind of hard to tell that it's even a generator. Let me modify my search a little bit. Maybe up power. Wonder if maybe this is kind of cool, kind of a power box. That's something we could maybe throw in there. There is more of the wall boxes. Wonder if I could put this maybe over here somewhere. I'm not gonna spend too much time decorating these walls just right now anyway. But every once in a while when I see something I like, I might just go ahead and throw it over there. Kind of wanted something cool that we could add behind this over here. I think that would work pretty well. Back over to the generator. Really not much. Pretty sure I have a generator in a pack that maybe we didn't download yet. I know I've seen one. But I really don't want to take the time, at least right now, to look for just that specific generator. So I'm going to roll with this transformer, I think. Maybe we can a bunch of cables or whatnot. Kind of make it look like it somewhat belongs here. Dude, I did want to have like a bunch of fuel nearby. I'm even thinking about making it so the player at some point has to bring back fuel. You know, maybe the bunker every so many hours will run out of fuel. Don't bring stuff back. And just if you want to go to the website, I'll link it in the chat. But take a look at it real quick. So this is the website. You can see up here, Icebreaker Games /Dream Machine. And this kind of goes over the details of the project. You can see there is some concept art and some bullets. And I know it's a little wordy, but for the most part, it explains almost the entire process or point of this game. And I don't want to spend too much time going into details. You guys should just take a look at that if you can. But for the most part, you know, you have this father and the son is the main character, and they escape some kind of apocalyptic event, and they're surviving in a bunker. And the father, who's like a scientist, engineer, sorts, he invented this dream machine that he can hook up to his son and control the son's dreams. And so there's 10 playable levels, almost like a history lesson, where the player will go through them and earn skill points for each level he completes. And then at the very end, at the very last level, level 10, he gets kind of pulled out of the machine because his dad's having problems. And so there's a twist, and then there's some cool concepts here. You guys should definitely take a look. But overall, it's going to be a third-person survival RPG. And like I said, I'm hoping to make the player have to go and get resources, anything from food, water, fuel. And I'm also thinking about having him have to eat or eat. So I think it's going to be a kind of standard RPG. But I definitely want to get away from some of the other RPGs that are out there. I want this one to be very different. So getting back into this, did like this box, but I'm not sure exactly what with it. Hook up cables. We do have some of these. Oh, I like this kind of electric board here. You know what? Maybe we could maybe even put in that one of those small generators, just to kind of show like maybe at some point he was thinking this was his backup. It's just like in the last few episodes. We really got to clutter this scene up. We got to make it look like they've been living here for a while. That they've had issues here and there. But in general, they were able to solve most of them. Put some gas cans in here. Not exactly sure how they would refuel this thing, especially bigger drums. You'd almost need like a forklift or pallet jack or something. The old man wouldn't be able to lift these drums by himself. He would think of some way to kind of siphon them out a little bit. This is I wonder if we could put this back. Kind of make it look like pumping out of this big tank already. We want to watch the height of it though, because I think it's gonna go into the ceiling. That's good. Move this over to that looks good. Out a little bit further than what I was hoping, but this is fun. I put another fuel can down here. So that I'm gonna use different one. I don't want them to all look the same. Locked in up here. Maybe we could put one of these actual barrels over there. Almost make it look like using this hose right here, siphon go into the bigger tank, then goes into this makeshift generator. I like it. Yeah, that's actually cool. All he has to do is turn this crank now. Hook up the hose and turn the crank, and that would work. So, should we put up here? I'm thinking about moving. Just back up, but I can only imagine very well in this episode. Here somewhere. Pretty good. And if you watched, it was episode 2, day 2, we did have these additional flooring that we could pick from. I wonder if there's one we could put underneath. Huh. Not too many options, just these pallets, which I used over on this side. We could potentially use them over here as well. I'm gonna unlock my hierarchy. That way when I select this tile, just pop that in there like that. What it looks like. Good. I'll put the other one. I don't think I wanted 4 pallets on, and then doesn't look too bad. Probably say that 10 more times during this stream. I want to go back to barrels. I really like these tarps. I want to see if I can use it for this, and it doesn't bad. A little bit of clip. Yeah, actually that looks pretty good. Like it. Don't think. Actually, I'll leave this here for now. I don't know if we're gonna use it though. I did want to put the toolbox up. make it look like he's been doing maintenance on the generator. Also, I'm thinking we need wires. I think we need some wires for this bulk generator here. Maybe for this, I'm gonna toggle the ceiling on. We did have this box here. Let's see what other, if we have another. Yeah. What I want to do, and we might change this someday, but I wanted to make it look like the power's getting primarily routed to the dream. That the majority of the power is going there. That's where it's coming in at. I'm gonna duplicate that. Come in, just duplicate that again. Hit it. Might just stretch it. Want to this. All right. I think this is good. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the ceiling again. Definitely want to move this thing. You don't have to see that all. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I just call the generator room good. So now we have this area left here. And what I'm thinking is this is the supply room. So the player is going to go out, collect supplies out in the world, and he's going to bring it back into here. It's going to be the first door on the left when you come in. The player's going to be coming in through here. So I want him to have pretty easy, quick access. And there's going to be kind of a drop-off point where any supplies that you have in or is going to be automatically placed on the shelves in here. So what are some shelves that I saw that I think would do really well? I think that's the. You have a bunch of different sizes and heights, but they're all similar looking. So I think that's going to work. General. I'm gonna delete this one. General, we want to have a lot of shelving. I think they've been down here for years, and so you would need a lot of supplies. Just gonna kind of randomly put these down for now. And we did have this kind too. I might bring this over to just for a little bit of variety. One of the biggest issues, I mentioned this before, is just filling all these up. Takes a lot of time. We're not going to want the player to immediately start off with all the shelves in. We're gonna have to come up with something. We're gonna have to come up with stuff temporarily. And we're also, one of the strategies here would be to have multiple versions of these shelves. That way we can access it basically through code, and you can say, hey, food's died down a little bit, so we're going to switch the graphic from the full shelf to the half full. Probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense when I'm trying to explain it, but when we actually get to that part of the game, it'll make a lot more sense. And I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm just randomly putting this stuff down. I think we should have multiple players here. I want the player to be able to navigate through here and kind of look at stuff. But like I said earlier, we have a lot of shelving. You can imagine how tedious it would be to try to fill all of this stuff. With like, equipment or food or whatnot. I think that might be good. I may end up getting rid of this one, but the tall, skinnier one. I don't want it to go too far into the center of the room. I do think the wall locker could probably stay here. Kind of like first come in there. That's readily available. I could even put it up against this wall. Might do that. Go. You have some other shelving, some actual. That's too important. Oh, also, didn't really talk about this too, but we're gonna need maybe a weapons pack. I'd even make this the shelf 2 dedicated to weapons, ammo, whatnot. Definitely don't intend this game to be hack and slash. There will be levels where you'll have to use a sword and a shield, but there's going to be a lot of levels too that are going to be, you're going to be able to shoot. Don't know. Not sure how I'll handle like collecting different weapons. Whether they'll actually populate here or not. Most likely not. I don't know if it's complicated. Game's already gonna be complicated on its own. That might be something we call plating. Fairly needed. Time that it takes to do that, it won't make that big of a difference in the game. I'm not gonna put too much weapons and ammo because I don't want it to look like the armory. Good things that the father collected. Something that he was intending to protect his family. Not sure what I'm gonna do with this decon shower. I kind of like the idea of it. Don't know how important I have in this bunker. We're not really. I don't have any chemicals or concepts line. So I'm not sure how much power. I mean, maybe the father had it just, but actually, maybe I could find like a tarp or something. Make it look like attic. Now the funny thing is he's got his son in here, and so he plays. But then we also have ammo and firearms. So I thought maybe it'd be funny if we left the bottom shelf empty or with more safe stuff down there, because that way his son did it down there and hurt himself. That might. Don't technically. That represented. Notice we. Self. We don't want the shelf kind of floating out in space. I know we have some better weapons. This. Go ahead and look for those. I want to say it was in the Battle Royale. Babs. Yeah. Let's see here. Apocalypse one. Real quick. Spend too much time in here. Make that even bigger. Might use crates. Probably not right now. Somewhere. Another tarp, I wonder. I wonder if I can get that to do the on tower without it looking. Stretching. I don't want any of that clipping power to show up. Kind of an optic part here. Not sure I like that, but I'll leave it there for now, see if I warm up to it. I'm just back looking for the cooler looking pile. I like to use these. Makes it easier to throw things in and still give that kind of random variety of look to it. That transform. Bust it out. But not what I'm looking for. Not in there. Battle. Pretty sure it's not in zombies. Barely any props in here. I doubt it's in farm pack. Must be in the sci-fi stuff. Oh, did I already look at the military? That would just make much sense. Gotta be in here. Those crates in there. Not even we. That happened. Ugh. Funny that I left a spot. On that one. I think we should put like a. Man, it's not. Oh man. Oh, perfect. So. Here to be in there. If it's in the sci-fi one, I may. Trying to figure out what it's called. There we go. Gunrack. Alright, type. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's in the military. How did we not see that? But yeah, that's what I was. Wait a minute. I've seen this before, but basically, weapon it's on auto. little taller. Maybe we can put something. We could put something underneath, maybe a box, something. Base and ultimately fits there. Else here. Okay. Econ tower. But yeah, I don't room for this unless it's something like straight on like a artificial. Now the player's got to snake around. It wouldn't be too bad. Definitely makes it look like got a lot of ammo. And it's already starting pretty well here. Thing do we want to that exact one? That in the full. Kind of wanted to box crates. Definitely that one. And I'm not sure what to think about this. This is a freezer from a floor. Supplies. sizing. I don't know if there's anything that's near the wall. Definitely. Definitely. So probably just there's a way to all these together so I don't have to hold click. One way is make a pre, but that's usually if I want to use that item over. Another way would be to put it into it. So that way you can quickly I'll go ahead and delete these for the extra. When we first started out, we made this bunker way too big. So I had to downsize it a little bit. I mean, you can make a bunker as big as you want, but I just felt it makes sense the size that we. So I do want to put a couple weapons up there. Weapons rack. Put shotgun here. Of course, it's. Thought it was too big for the weapon. Oh, I guess technically. That. Up again. No, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe. Something to work with here. I have a lot of options, but not all very good. Wanna I get some complaints about that one, but oh, this. I'll just. Butt of the weapon is supposed to not all the way down on the ground, but I haven't really thought about what weapon the player is going to have when he first leaves. It'd be funny if we did double barrel shotgun. I feel like most games hard on you. I really like games. There's a dead space. We first start off like no weapon, still scary stuff going. Notice how when I'm trying to move here, it's really fast. Shortcut for that is if you hold the right mouse button, go down on the mouse, or decrease your. When you're doing really fine tuning like this, go down all the way to like. I think that actually looks really good. Maybe I could put that. Might copy that. That's Lies. Kind of resting. That. Oh look at this. Gun locker. Man. Better. this one out. Very one. Now we can do some pretty, we can have fun with it. We can lock this stuff up in the beginning. Then it's not till you get to a certain point of the game. And bother giving. Pretty sure, yep. Doors open up. So we can give key. And then open doors. Now ending. To put in one of these like heavy machine guns, but a little not realistic that he would have something like that. But eventually he'll like to play find that. Once he finds it, then it will be available. I want to say there's more options. Gotta be maybe a pistol. Should have a lot of guns. I think to throw out a couple of guys. But we can shoot it. I know people that barely even sizing, but like using. You definitely have to be careful because it sometimes change, proportion asset. It kind of warp thing. But I think it'll. Now we put probably put probably what I'll start the player with. Maybe since there's only a few options in this weapons rack, we may player. One of the things I like with RPGs, you know, more choices you there. Maybe just a few more boxes. Two shotgun boxes. Shotgun ammo boxes. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Of course. And I think even we could put a lock on. I look ridiculous. Again, like that was the play. So I'd like to put something in here. Good. I think I'm good with this. Guys, think. So, look now, we got 4 rooms done. Got the bedroom, bathroom area, living room and kitchen area, workshop, machine area, storage, right here. That's it. Advance this up a little now and do something else. This can go in. And like I said, we'll come back to this scene, figure out what we're gonna do with all this shelving. We'll probably do a bunch of food, back wall, maybe some more survival items, center. Maybe even like a shelf of toilet paper. I think that'll get a little tedious now, so I'll save it. Okay. I'll go ahead and save this. And oh, one thing I am gonna do is go ahead and delete the example that we had here. I don't think we need that anymore. I am curious. Actually, yeah, they had actual lighting. We haven't done this yet, but you have a camera here. You can see that that's kind of how the lighting was. I like the red light. We'll have to keep that in mind. But definitely not what we overall. Delete those. Don't need background image. When we brought these over originally, moved them, so I'm going to select all of them. Drag those. Probably our walls. Now if I select building, get all. And you know, this is something I think about it. I kind of want to I'm gonna this as well. Because we can use this great example how to get that. Have another set of stairs here. Not too bad. Not sure we need both of them. Let's just enter the... I think that's more realistic. Good. Got all these extra ceiling tiles. That'll work. Oh. I mentioned this in episode 1. You can see real quickly there's what I call clipping. So the wall goes into the. They're struggling to. Gonna render. Guys, me. But it'll work for now. Okay, I'm gonna save this scene. Now we're gonna get ready to do the. We're gonna get ready to do the initial kind of splash screen intro menu. Take a look real quick. This is what would look like kind of going through here. Here's our potential main character, and we threw him as in there kind of as a joke, but then that would be potentially a father. You could come in through here. Pyro. Harp doesn't look too bad. And generator room. Classroom. Laundry room. Master bedroom. Bedroom. Shower. And over here. Here we got the workshop. Parts. Clean machine where the kid up to. Storage. Living room. Kitchen. Work. Storage there. Wall definitely looks a little blank. Place to put pipes or something. I think that looks good. So, it's here. I have a scene, this current scene that we're at, originally named level 1. Or sorry, level 0. And that's just because it's index 0 when we build these. No longer going to be index 0 because the menu is going to take over that. I'm going to name this level 1. And I might even give it additional name and call it the bunker. We don't need this sample scene no more. Don't need any light things. We no longer have. I will create a new scene here. Call it menu. Now that I think about it, I have index 0 menu 1 level I might change this times, but for now, this makes the most sense. Now, when you look up at your build settings, we have move this, drag this one in, so that's our menu and index 0. Our bunker, which is index 1. Now I'm going to load this menu. This is pretty much all you get when you first start off. I'm also going to create a folder here called UI. Start bringing in some images or whatnot to make this intro scene. And what I tend to do is I have a couple videos that I use my intros. So one of them, one of them's MP4, just my logo, then the and it's just video here. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want this to populate when you first load the game. So you can't just, well, at least the last time I tried, it's been a little while, but you can't just have the video itself playing. I need something to play the video on, almost like a projector. So the way I usually do this is I'm going to create a render texture based off of this logo here. For size, 1080 by 1920. There you go. He's fine. And then we're going to create I think we could do image. Gotta be a raw image. Hypothetically, go into mode. Out. That would be our canvas here. A raw image, we want to take up the entire canvas. Let's see what happens when we push play here. We get the video player, I think. Been a little while since I've had to do this. There we go. Now, I'm not in full screen here, but we'll change that real fast. We're gonna do maximize on play. I usually have this game view on my other screen, but for streaming I have it over here. Take a look at that. That looks pretty good. Now, we don't have sound on this. And of course we would want that. What I usually do is I create empty game object. I reset its value here. I'm just gonna call it manager. This is gonna potentially hold all the individual managers. I know I called it menu, but I like to handle as much in this scene as we possibly can. Normally, since this isn't gonna be, not gonna have some dramatic video. We're not gonna need a bunch of load time, and we're not gonna separate it into. I mean, I would love to be able to create a real epic video, but that stuff, you know, it comes later and usually costs a lot of money. So now we're going to create another game object. Call it intro. And we're going to open Playmaker for. Now, if you were here for day one, I talked a lot about Playmaker and how much I love Playmaker. It's a visual concept that you can get on the 3DS for. I think it's like $60, but it's well worth it. It's really awesome. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff using Playmaker. Not everything, even though I think Playmaker can handle everything. I just, some things it's really easy to do. Really easy, especially if I already have that script. Really easy for me to just grab that, put into. So I might use both. I don't use Bolt. Bolt is the free visual script concept for Unity. Really looked into it too much. Love to hear guys what you guys think about it. You know, if it's better than Playmaker, if it's handle everything, I'd love to hear. Definitely let me know. So, cool thing about Playmaker is it's a function state machine. So we add this FSM to this item thing. Mark here just labels which items have a Playmaker FSM. It's really easy to find them in your hierarchy now. And then you have this state. Right here we have it called state 1, and immediately from the start it's going to do whatever actions we have here. It's really that simple. Now, because it plays that video immediately, which is fine. That's the company, so the company logo. We don't have to do anything with that, but we did want. So I can just click up here and click and go to actions. Have your browser. Plus some of the tabs we don't. Actually, I'll leave. You can just type in a search bar here, play. So there is color that you can color code these actions, and I usually use yellow for some. Then you can also rename the state. A lot of times, depending on how you do it, I tend to very similar the action. So if I only have one, a lot of times that's what the name. You can put as many actions as you want per state, that's fine. And you would have different big things. It could be like step one, a bunch of stuff. However you want to name it. We'll do it different. But we're going to need now an audio clip to play along with. So I don't have that prepared as speak. I'll have to look. Okay, that's not too long. And I might have jinxed myself. I'm gonna go ahead and just drag it into this UI, even though I'm not gonna stay there, because I want to create another folder. Now we can go ahead and drag that in. Drag it into the base. But if we click here, you'll see that's our only option. But pretty. And it might be able to give it a try. Now when we push play, it's going to run that video and eventually play. Not sure you guys can hear it, but playing that. Now the video itself might be longer than the sound is. So I'm going to take a look at that real quick. Go do this Show Explorer, and I open this. The length is only 8. If we look at the audio here, you can see it. You don't need it to keep playing well after the video is done. So we're going to want to basically put a timer. Now, a couple different ways to do that. We can add a new state. We can add a transition here called finished. Say, hey, once you're done playing that sound, I want you to wait. So I would go into this action browser, up wait. Here, double click on that action. And also, just so you know, all of these actions are actually scripted. If we were to click here on edit script, then you would be able to go in and fine tune that code if you wanted. But these are all pre-built action scripting in Playmaker, and I would say 99.9 would never need to adjust that. But the coolest thing about this concept is you can actually create your own scripting and make it be part of an action for Playmaker. So we're gonna say you want to wait 8 seconds. That was the length. That 8 seconds. Another transition. Say, hey, do something. Now we're going to a little picky about organizing these. One of the shortcuts I do, holding control, pops these things states to a grid. So now it plays a sound, waits 8 seconds, and goes to a new state. It's really this easy, guys. I'm telling you, anybody can do this. And so what do we want it to do at that point? We want it to stop playing that. So there isn't really not too many options for fading. So I want to say the way that I normally. I may have my own custom script that I usually use. Let's check the ecosystem. Talked about this. This is something we added on when we added on Playmaker. We can click here on the green and say use ecosystem, and we type in fade. Now this shows all of these custom scripts, custom actions that people created for Playmaker. So this very top one could work, although it seems, I don't know if it's fading in or out. Get that one, because we only really need a fade out, I click the get button, and it's going to automatically install project, auto compile. You'll be able to find it in your action just by doing a regular search. So it's really easy, really convenient. You don't have to drag and drop anything. Find out where to put stuff. Way of doing it. Once it's done, I usually double check, make sure that any red hairs clear up. Then we're good to go. So now I can come back to here, back to the action browser. Now when I type in fade, we have an audio. This one does require an audio source, so we don't want that to be on this particular intro manager. I usually have the audio source itself. And just in this particular case, because we're doing UI, so you can drag in the main camera here, and then just click here, and it'll automatically. Now we're definitely gonna get more complex when it comes to audio, because we are gonna want to have basically a master mixer that, because we're gonna need to be able to turn volumes up and down using UI. We're gonna want to adjust the master volume versus the sound effects versus the music. We're going to want all these different things, so we're going to have to create a mixer and have multiple channels in it. So things are going to get a little bit complicated. So certain things will have to change as we progress, but for now, I think this will work. And just name this fade out. So. And then for now, just to, okay, I know you're done. Have this go off into the other state. So if I push play now, it should play the sound. About 8 seconds. It should fade out. But it's not. That's fine. And we did get an error there. Forgot to set that. But I don't think that would be. Actually, the script has a built-in time, so we might be able to just cut out that wait altogether. I try this a different way here. They're doing a play sound. I'm going to do an audio play. I don't want it to end wait for the clip to end because that's too long. Then we're going to route it right into that fade out and see if this 8-second here will work. That'll eliminate the need for this state altogether. And I'm not going to maximize it on play here because I want to show you guys what Playmaker's doing one right here. You can see that right into 8 seconds. And then it's done. Moved on to the next state. You can literally watch this live. Whatever state is highlighted is the current state, and you can even pause it or fast forward it. It's really good. It makes debugging very easy. And I was correct that this fade out did work. You can also make changes live while you're still in play mode, and if you do that, it doesn't officially save, so you can kind of do that once we exit out. All of our changes we made in play mode would go back to normal. So we don't need this wait state. Have our audio fade out. Technically, so we don't need this one. Now, one would argue, well, we don't really need this fade out one either. Just put it here. We go to this state and get rid of this altogether. Now we are playing the sound, fading out the sound after 8. Moving on to the state. And also, since this marked yellow, it does have 2 audio states. It is still a concept, so I would still keep it just to make sure that works. I'll go ahead and push play again. Interesting. Oh, that's because named a finished event, so it finished before it got to this step. It does work down, so it's going to do this step first and all we asked it to do in the audio play was just play that sound. We didn't say wait till we said just play it, and so it played it, and then milliseconds it went ahead and hey, yeah, I did play it, and it moved on and skipped this event here. Action. Let's try that again. So now it's staying there, waiting on the audio fade out. Here it is, 8 seconds. Now we're good to go. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to do. For the record, I also do what's called watermarking. This alien one. If you're working on this with a team, and you're the one who created this FSM, you could watermark it with your specific watermark. There's quite a few options. I picked alien, honestly, the very first one. But then you would know, okay, this is the person that created this FSM. What were you thinking? But moving along, so now we have our intro, so to speak, and we're gonna want now our Dream Machine intro, something that says, we had something that says, hey, Icebreaker game, IBG. Now we need something that says Dream Machine title. You don't necessarily need to do this. Some people just skip right into the menu. Maybe that's what we do. But you can be clever with this. You can do it however you want to do it. One of the ways that I recommend is maybe creating a title that blends your menu. So it might just say Dream Machine, and then all of a sudden your menu, your actual buttons pop up. So I think that's kind of the way I'm thinking about doing it right now. So we don't have any cool background images currently in here. Our UI folder is pretty much empty. So we have no buttons, no borders. I mean, you name it, we pretty much don't have anything. This is when I recommend they're using the asset store. Sometimes you can get a UI package that comes all together as just everything, and they all look the same. As long as it matches, you know, essentially what you wanted it to do, then they go ahead and get it. There's so many free options as well if you just want to throw something together, get going. I also recommend doing that. For now, I'm thinking we might need something that just says Dream Machine. And so we can create a UI. If we need a panel, maybe for now we'll do UI image. I'll just DG background. And I like to keep for and then whatever it is, even though you can look at it, kind of tell, but with UI especially, it'll kind of make it easier for something. Exactly what I did. I would underscore whatever it is. So for example, this raw image here. So I would name it. And then this, we're going to want this full screen as well, so I hold down Alt, and now it stretches to get this, whatever its root parent object is, going to stretch to that side. So if I had a really cool Dream Machine image to use here, this is what I would put here. I do. I don't have an image currently. You know, that's something I might do later down the road. But I might take a look at Adobe Firefly. If you haven't looked at Adobe Firefly, it's pretty sick. Now with Adobe Firefly, and I'll switch to this here in a second. I had to set up an account. I had to ask permission to get into it. It is in beta right now, but there's some pretty cool options. 4 options are available right now. One of them that I really like is this text effect. So you can type in whatever you want here. Now let's call it Dream. And then describe the way the text should look. So a lot of it's in the name. I might just put Dream Machine in. Happens. I put dark, and might put, I don't know, sci-fi maybe. Click generate. Doesn't take too long, but you can see right away we got like really cool text concepts here. And it's all made out of that kind of machine any machine that we just typed in. We can select our different fonts, which this one seems pretty spaced out, so I might pick something more like this. And then it's got to repopulate, which I do like this. I'm not saying we would keep this long term. You know, obviously you're gonna want to design something that looks pretty good. Also, you can match the actual stuff that overlays the letters. You can tell it to match it tightly, medium, or loose. So I play around with these settings sometimes too. There are cases where I like loose the best, but you can see now the machine, the parts kind of stick out of the letters. Sometimes it gets hard to tell what you're actually. I might just stay with medium. They also give you some other options you can select from these. But it does take a while to load them. But like this one looks pretty cool. Pretty cool to me. And then you can also select your background color or text color. A text color I usually leave that, and I usually leave background color. Especially when you're going to import it into Unity. So I would just go ahead and click this download button. It does apply the content credentials. Basically says this was created using AI. But you can see now that it did create this part here. And so I would open this up into Photoshop. I definitely have pretty much all the Adobe products. I'm a big fan and I use them almost daily, especially Photoshop, Illustrator. What else? And Air Pro. All of them. See, now I got this pulled up. Yeah. In Photoshop, what I usually do is I just go ahead and select text selection tool. First two. And then I'm going to select first. Go ahead and select the and then delete that. And then I would go ahead and export it as PNG. The other one, we don't need that. So now when we import this Unity, we want to change this to Sprite 2D in UI. Click apply. You'll see that it's got the transparency and it looks pretty good. So, a couple things. Since this is our background image, I might just make this. Just do it for now. And then I'm going to create another image. We're gonna put that in there. We're gonna preserve the aspect. Just that. I'm gonna go ahead and name this real quick. So your title. Now there's a couple different ways to do this. Some people just drag this card, then center it. Once again, cut. And so you can see pretty good. We could do whatever we wanted with this. We can zoom it in, throw it in, link it in. You can do it however you want. You can just have it there. Not sure at this point what we'll do. Not be, like I said, we may not even stick with this very long. But so for now, though, after the video stops playing, we want this to. So if I just go ahead and click play right now, the title and the background are over the top of our player. And now this is done. We would want this to get toggled on once it's. If that makes any sense. We don't want it to be on, but we're gonna want it to come on once this video player is done. I'm gonna go ahead and create. For now, let's just do a panel. I go ahead and set it to transparent. It's not a raycast target. You're not gonna be able to click on this. This panel's already stretched. I'm gonna just call it title panel. A lot of times I use these panels very much like I would use empty game. So we can have these toggled on, but now we can toggle off one object and that works. So back in our row manager here, after it's done the sound, we're going to want it to toggle on the title. Now remember when we looked up fade, there was camera fade in, camera fade out. There's really nothing else. Let's try this. Looks like not. So we're gonna want to also activate this game object. So we're gonna drag that in, activate. So let's try it like this. Also, whenever I drag in and specify a game object, this usually, this isn't necessarily the preferred way to do it because the way it's referenced. So you can do this, but if you do this a lot, it kind of gets a little taxing on the system. I usually just mark these blue like, hey, you kind of took a shortcut here by just dragging an item. Also, this, just like regular scripting, this particular FSM can be saved as a template and applied to multiple scenes or multiple objects and use this stuff over. For that case. But when you do it that way and not reference things, But I am going to play see what happens here. Let's see. Go. And then it faded in. Wasn't obvious, but it did fade in. We can maybe extend that time a little bit, maybe seconds. And also I want to change on my main. I'm going to go ahead and currently it's set to have this background type of environment. The skybox. We want to just change solid color. We're going to change it. When you first push play, you could never see. Yeah, I went black first, then showed. You never see that background for that skybox. That's going to be important. We don't want people to see that. And then we have our dream machine. So now to play around with this title panel, we put it on. I can see what's going on. So I'm going to set up kind of a state, and it's usually what I call the high state. I'm going to set this as the start state. We're going to initialize the scene before we do it. Of course, once we're finished, go ahead and now, depending on how big this initialization is kind of where you get a lot of the load time, a lot of other videos. But for us, it's going to be simple. Want okay, or deactivate. If you uncheck this, now you're going to deactivate this specific object and dragged in it. Turn it blue here. So that means no matter what I'm doing right now in the editor mode with it on, then it's going to initialize, turn it off, eventually turn it. I can leave this on. You'll see when I push play, it works. Turns it off right away, and it does it within milliseconds, so you never even notice that. Yeah, look. So at this point, we may want to just do some clever, cool stuff with this. You know, at this point, I'm not feeling very clever, very creative. So maybe what we're just gonna move this title up. Actually, now that camera has that black background, I don't think we need. So look at that. You can see the intro comes in just fine. You saw the black before the intro. And then Dream Machine, and notice the background image is created and yet it's still black. So we don't need that anymore. But I'm glad. But like I said, if we're going to do something cool and use this as the well, we should probably maybe kind of animate. Title moves up. Maybe at the same time, buttons move up here as well. So to do this, Go ahead and move it back to its normal spot. I'm going to go down to this animation tab here. Great. Animator here. Now, I don't have a folder yet in the project for animation. I'm going to go ahead and create. And this is just going to be, title move, however you want to name. So it creates the animator to the imager itself. It creates the controller, does pretty much everything for you. So now all I have to do is say, hey, let's record. And after, I don't know, 1 second, you now launch this piece. And so if you see, if you go back and push play here, you actually can preview this. It looks pretty fast. You don't want it that fast. So I'm going to move that. Maybe 2 seconds. I think that's better. So we're gonna stop recording. We're also in the preview state, so that's why it's blue. But so now, go back to our animations folder. I created a folder and then, or I thought I created a folder, but I guess it. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to drag these. So you have title move, which is the animation itself, and then title image, which is the controller. The controller is essentially the boss of all the animations that are associated with this particular item. So the animation automatically gets selected. The loop. Don't want that. Unselect that. And also, your animator is almost always turned on. So when you're not in preview mode, the animator's off. Which means as soon as it's on, it's going to play that animation. This is what the controller looks like. It's saying, hey, as soon as we get turned on, or we're able to, we're going to go ahead and do this animation. And so we don't want that right off the bat. But just for the sake of seeing what that looks like, go ahead and play. Probably gonna want to build in a skip this too. So that way we don't have to watch this every time, because these scenes are gonna get crazy. But you can see immediately as soon as we got here, it said, hey, I'm here, I can do this, let's move up. Don't want that. A couple ways to do this. One is with Playmaker is probably the simplest way, maybe the lazy way of doing this, is just to turn off the animator altogether. And now we go into our Playmaker manager here, and we're gonna want to create a new state that turns that animated object script. So want to there's an easier way to do this. This is already locked, so I'm gonna select that. This is a really cool part about this. Mention this. So when you have your Playmaker locked, you can select any item in your hierarchy. So for this particular case, we're gonna select the title here. And now any component that's already added to that item, you can actually drag in Playmaker, do something to. So for example, we're going to manipulate this animation Now it's saying, hey, these are what we. So there's a lot of options in here. But what we essentially want to do is we just want to toggle this. Do set property, and we're to here. And we're going to set that value to. But I want to do this after a certain amount. Wait. There, maybe wait seconds. And actually, I like to have my weights separate from everything else, as much as possible, just so I can easily find them and then manipulate them at timings. We have wait 2 seconds for the event, and then we're going to set the property. We're going to say table. This was another thing that we dragged in, so this would get blue again. Now, if we push play again, we get to the flash here. It's 3 seconds. On that animator and yep, good. So another part of this, I guess for now, we can maybe set up something. Skip through this video player. So the way we currently set it up isn't necessarily the best way to do this, because we've been waiting inside of this play sound. But if we do something called any I don't know if I want it to be thinking. We'll do escape. We're going to do hit key down, and we're going to click escape. You notice we have every option on a keyboard. And then we're going to send out a new event. New one. Let's say we need to add that event or trans. So with that. Also, we're going to need now probably a new state, because we're going to need to turn off that media player. For now, I'll just drag it off to the side there. I usually also try to make the arrows as close to their target as possible. So I'm going to move this transition down like my dog. The bulldog, she loves sitting that way. But so say if anybody pushed the key down during this state, it's going to turn off this player or video player. So we'll try it this way first. Deactivate, specify, turn it blue. I want to turn off this player. Maybe raw image as well. We're going to turn these off. Really, this state is just Activate. Another finished, and we're gonna want it to go down. So player skips it, video gets turned off. Now we start the title process. Let's go in, we push escape. It didn't stop the sound. So we're gonna want it to do that as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make this audio fade out. I'm gonna put it at 1 second. Then try. Okay. Nope. Second didn't seem a little long. I might just put this at 0. Now, it is technically doing audio well, so we could color this yellow. I don't really have necessarily a rule for this. Usually, whatever it does mostly is what color code it. However, if you do have like an audio guy who's going to come in and all this stuff, he might be upset that you didn't label this one yellow. But also, the way I also look at it is as you move down the levels, it also gets higher priority. So technically, yellow. Because this is just a fade out, though, I'm gonna leave it blue. It's actually gonna be or changing volume. That now I'll just leave. What we could have done is created a new state here. We should just do it, just show you. And then we would cut this out. Paste this. Out. Now you would come here for now it's a little bit more, maybe better organized. You have more states, but maybe it's a little bit easier to read. It really just depends. I do notice when you add a crap ton of action in one state, it can get a little bit or troubleshoot and you to kind of your titles also get a little bit more vague. And if I were to just hand this project off to some, they may have a hard time figuring out what. But limiting these actions, just a few per state, might be the. So we do have a skip concept now. And we can now start working with some of the buttons. So we have this title image here. And did this wrong, which happens all the time. I should have put the animator and the animation on the actual panel, because then we could add buttons to that, and it makes a lot more sense. I prefer to keep the panels as, like I said, kind of the parents, have all the different buttons and whatnot, children of the panel, versus now what we have to do is make the buttons children. Whether or not it's a really big deal, maybe, I'm sure people will do both ways. It's just kind of the way. So you could technically do try it is we could copy this component here, add it to the so if we were to go into preview mode, push play, see that the whole entire panel now. And so then here we don't need the animator. But if you remember right, we referenced it in the script. So this animator now, notice now missing. There's no air, nothing turned red, nothing like that. So that's one of the reasons why I label these blue. Because if we make any therapy like that means we need to go and invest and determine like, oh, did I mess? Now we have to drag in. We're gonna actually just do this the easy way again. We're going to select the title panel with this lock. Drag over that property. We'll turn that. Now let's once again go through, check this out. Skip video. Perfect. So now we are going to want to the buttons. I'm going to go UI and I'm going to go button text mesh. Now, for some reason, text mesh row is now available in Unity. Back in the day, you used to have to download it separately. But it makes you do this essentials work. So I go ahead and install that. It's real quick, but I don't ever use examples. I definitely don't need examples. Maybe the really look. But what Text Mesh Pro really is a way for the text to show up on a button much more clearly. Back in the day, it was very pixel. You can see each button comes up with its own. So we would change this button, the name of this button, depending. Now, one thing though, we're going to do as well, we're going to create another panel. But as a child, we're going to so I want it to be, just in this particular case, I want a bit of the title itself. Maybe we go down a little bit. I don't need the panel to have any color, so I'm going to make it transparent. Now, on this panel itself, I'm going to add called a layout. Nice thing about layout groups are they kind of automatically find and move buttons to wherever they need. And they don't just do it for buttons, they do it for whatever you put underneath this layout group. So now you can see if I make this button child of automatically adjusted the button. Not only did it move it, but it changed the size, and that's based off of the cell size. We have it a perfect 100. Now I don't think we need it to be perfect square. I think a rectangle would still be best, but we may want it to be a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll do 200. That could work. We want to start for left. We are going to want some spacing, but I'll show you here in a little bit. All this looks good. We think about it, and maybe we needed to create some design documents. But in general, there's only a certain amount of buttons. So I'm going to do Control D, which is duplicate, and it automatically positions the next button. Exactly. Very good feature. And so I'm going to do it maybe 2 more times. So think this out. Or we would want a play button. Now that could change. We could have maybe continue or load or new game. Those concepts there's a reason for all of them. We haven't really thought about that project. Yes, we code a save status. So we may want the game the act in other saves. So maybe we change this to, and then we're going to want VA settings. Definitely gonna want it. And we got one more button. We could probably do, actually change this to load game. And this one. So you can see we have our buttons. It's not exactly the way that I want them laid out right now. So we're going to go back into this grid layout group and we're going to create some. We can also do this constraint, which I like. We're going to want a fixed column. And so we only want 2 columns. Now we're going to want to also, instead of start in the upper left corner, we're going to want to % better. And we want to create some spacing between these buttons. So for now we can do 150. So if you look at the title panel here, we had this animation. It goes up like that. Try to stop it. This is where the buttons will be once they. But notice that initial state buttons. So I'm thinking the panel maybe go further. So let's that looks. Go back to the limit. Play. Up. We stop it and go to that second mark. Up there. Our buttons are fairly in a spot. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but this could work for now. Also, on the title image, not a cast target, and you don't. But obviously, the buttons. Go ahead and click play. this. So we got green screen, second, goes off. Click on it. Did not stop. Interesting. I'll have to troubleshoot that. But you can see in the game, you can click these buttons, some type of feedback or response. That's definitely the way that that means these buttons are working. Now, of course, we're going to want some cool looking buttons. We're not going to, big tiles here. And actually, most games nowadays don't even have these tiles. You would just have something, you would just click close to the. We can do that either which way. But for now, let's troubleshoot why it didn't do audio. I honestly don't know. We copied it straight from here. Change that to maybe a 10th second. Maybe I didn't like that 0. Try that again. Watch it there. Yeah, works pretty good there. Maybe having it at 0 just kind of created this like hiccup scenario. Okay, so one thing, well, the title image has this nice box around it. In general, you want that box to be exactly the same. Not to be. I want it to almost shrink that. And in this particular case, it doesn't matter. But it's a good practice because eventually you're going to be doing that stuff with buttons or other images. To let it stay like that, you're going to have clicking UI issue. Have one object or one lead another item, and you're going to wonder why your buttons aren't working. So it's a good habit. That. So let's go ahead and preview that because I did move it again. Now you can see this white line represents the very top of our step through there. We would just move this down. We would just do. Is on. Okay, so do we fine tune buttons? We're definitely going to at some point, but for now, let's maybe easy steps. So I do want to rename these buttons. We're gonna have. I don't think I need settings. But it's probably the easiest one. We can do that right. Go ahead and go to Playmaker. Lock this. Now we're no more. We're actually. And we're going to go ahead and add an emphasis watermark again. Cool thing about this, on our UI button, on pretty much saying, hey, if anybody clicks on the button, do this. We're going to go ahead and add finished. Or let's not do that. Let's add a new event. I call it press. Like this, it's gonna there. This particular state, I know it's a one-click event, but a lot of times I call this idle, just because it's just gonna sit here in this state forever, waiting for somebody to click. So, in general, it's idle. Obviously, people are gonna argue. I've just done it for so long that makes sense to me sometimes. So once it's in the idle state and once it gets pressed, then it works. It was the quit button, so all you gotta do is type quit. There's an action called, and that's literally you're one of these with color with this. Quit button. Or maybe we just do quick. I will say can't test that feature in play mode. You would have to actually build this project and then have it test it. Like, I'm pretty sure that that's gonna work just fine. So I will also change this panel. I'm gonna call it panel. So we're gonna have our buttons. We're also gonna create a new panel. We're gonna want settings panel and a code game panel. Now I'm not. Oh. And what I'll do instead is select this new game. We're gonna do very similar. Deficit. Add my watermark. Go in and do the button. We're gonna create a new event again called pressed. Do idle. But when the button is pressed, we are gonna want to load that level. Now remember doing those indexes. You can now see we want to load level number by. There is an option to do just load level, but now you're going to load it by. The problem is we quite often the indexes. I'm going to stick with this load level. Remember, I reach on the menu itself. We have a couple other features. Well, we have additive, which is pretty nice. It's a cool concept, but it's loading this particular level on top of, or essentially it's loading one scene on top of it, which, believe it or not, it's done quite a few times. Assassins probably they may have started the trend, I'm not sure, but they do a really good job. Anytime you found yourself crawling through a cave very very slow animation, kind of like side swiping through the cave. What that really is doing is just slowing you down so that it can load that cave on top of this. And then on your way out, it's the opposite. Unloading that scene. It's a very clever way of making the world when in reality you have. So this is so it is kind of a cool concept. I think for now we don't need to worry about that. So we're just gonna do, once it's loaded, we're going. We actually don't even need to plant here. What I mean, in a second. We're gonna load. So go ahead and push play here. Did everything correctly. Work. Cross our fingers. Do this. Second. Got our button. Game. Get loaded. Now, we didn't set up the camera, whatnot, for this. We have this 2D camera here. Or I guess the camera's not, but we didn't really set up a camera and all that stuff. That's it efficient load the load. It pretty much did it. Wait, a loading bar. So that is working. Now technically have the basic concepts for a video game. Width, load, a level. You can't do anything in that level. We can load it. So if I were to build this right now, I mean, be kind of the lowest level of a video game, or an MVP, what I'll call it. So I think I'm going to stop the stream at this point. I think a good point to get off. I think our next stream will be going and kind of fine tuning a lot of this UI and making it good. I think how it looks cool. Really like to include cool dynamic theme, my buttons, and maybe even some particle effects. Kind of like a small little bit of amount that goes on while you're in your menu. Like just having Dream Machine or buttons. Really I mean, I do like a minimalistic approach to a lot of that stuff, but I do think just once you load a game, like, you want to be wowed on. Good example of that to me. You know, if you haven't played Green Hell, it's an amazing RPG. Brutal, tough. A lot of people struggle, but it's on Green Hell. It looks. So I would definitely recommend looking at that, seeing what I'm talking about. Obviously, we're not going to get Green Hell's level graphics. We don't have their art team, so do what we may even incorporate some of that bunker. I wanted to do the bunker first because we may come up with like a camera angle or something in the bunker that gives depth to this menu, and we can maybe throw in some cool lighting and cool effects, and maybe make it good. So thank you guys for joining. It's been awesome. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys were able to follow along and get bored. And I'd love to see you guys next time. Make sure to join my Discord, check out the website, and if you're ever interested in donating, check out the Patreon account. Everything is linked in my pic. So if that's everything, I appreciate it.